Hello and good morning, everybody. You're watching on your TVs in Texas and Louisiana, as well as streaming around the world on great platforms like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and the rest of them. We have a crazy world right now. As you know, Trump they had another apparent assassination attempt on the Donald. Haven't got all the information on that out yet, but interesting part about it is that both of these guys, well, first of all, there's a lot to unpack there, but both of these guys, the last would-be assassin and this would-be assassin, both of them appeared in like promotional videos. So this latest one, he was in an AZOV video. And AZOV, I'm not an expert on Ukraine or anything, but it looks like that's one of their military units, maybe like their special forces or something like that. I think something like that, okay, connected to Ukraine. And then as well, the other guy, who attempted assassination there in Pennsylvania, he was in a promotional video for Blackrock. So pretty interesting as well, both very tied to Ukraine. So Blackrock right now owns something ridiculous like 70% or 50% or something like that of the land in Ukraine. So both very, very tied to Ukraine, which is very, very tied to Israel as well. Okay, so all of these wars and everything are connected, and that is crazy because, of course, Trump has done more for them as anybody. So, but who knows? It has the hallmarks of MK Ultra all over it. Now, as well, Alan Dulles, though, who started the CIA, was cousin to the Rockefellers, the central banking cartel Rockefellers. So, all intimately tied together. The CIA, he was the longest. Alan Dulles was the longest running person in charge of the CIA as well ever. So all the hallmarks of MK Ultra. If you don't know what MK Ultra is, it has been made public. I mean, you can even find it on Google. You can go on Google and look up MK Ultra. MK Ultra is one of the multiple mind control programs that the CIA had or has. They say, of course, they're not using it anymore. I think probably once that cat's out of the bag, it's out of the bag, right? I mean, that's what I think. Who knows? But we have both of these guys who, and I don't know so much about either of them really, but here they are. They're both kind of like in the track, right? I mean, if you're in a promotional video for Blackrock, or if you're in a promotional video for one of the military units or whatever that was of Ukraine, I mean, you're really kind of you're in, right? I mean, they're not just hiring random people for that. You're in somehow. So it's crazy that they didn't get him again. I mean, I'll tell you what, guys, if they don't get him, it's crazy. I mean, two attempted assassinations in like, what was the last one? It was in July, right? July 13th. So in 2 months, I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely, it's unheard of. And it's one of the things, actually, I was talking with somebody, I won't say exactly who it was, that's close to me, but doesn't have a whole lot of experience in finance. And they were saying, oh, yeah, you want to vote for Kamala? She's going to give you $6,000 for your kids. She's going to give you $6,000 for your kids. And I'm like, first of all, what in the world are you even talking about, right? I mean, I don't watch TV, so I get my news from reading it and the information on the internet and everything like that. I don't watch the propaganda. But $6,000 per kid, first of all, guys, look, and this is one of the reasons why I think they keep trying to assassinate Trump, is because the taxes have to go up in order to pay the federal income tax. Always, you can look back historically what the debt is on the national debt, what the interest payment is on the national debt, and the federal income tax always equals what is owed for to quote unquote borrow the money, which they're not even borrowing the money. Even the funny thing is, and I might have the guy on the show, I think he has to go to court today or tomorrow, but even when you borrow money to buy your house or you borrow money to buy a car, they're not loaning you the money there. They're just minting it up, and they front it to you. And that's one of the reasons why the society has gotten so bloated and everything's so expensive and inflation is so crazy. But $6,000, I told her, I looked at her, I said, listen, I don't know what you're talking about, but I pay more in my taxes now than I did when we had Trump in. And it's gone up every year since Trump went out. And she, oh no, they're gonna give you $6,000 per kid, or I don't know if it's per kid or $6,000. Take that $6,000. Oh. If they give you $6,000, they're gonna make it up somewhere else because they have to pay. That number has to go up. We are now $35 trillion in debt, quote unquote, to the banking cartel, to the Federal Reserve. Now, it's all kind of funny money anyway, right? Because all they did was print up they didn't even actually front the money to us, okay? They just printed up the money. They let the government run their scam. And they said, okay, the government said we want, this many trillions of dollars. I think we printed up $6 trillion in 2023. So it'd be interesting to see at the end of the year how many trillions of dollars that we printed up in 2024. I think 6.1 trillion. That's what we printed up. The national debt will never be paid down. It'll never actually be paid down because we're paying it down with US dollars. So every US dollar, every 100 billion that they print up so that we can pay them back, they're making every 100 billion, they make 3 to 5 billion on that. So we'll never actually pay the debt down. And we'll never actually, there's no way out. And I talk about it on the show kind of multiple times because there's no way out of this system. And this is what a lot of people have been going on about. There's no way out. The only thing that this system that we have right now creates is debt slavery. It's slavery. I call it debt slavery. So it makes it easier for people. It creates debt, and then the country is indebted to the central bank. The people are indebted to the central bank, and there's no way out. There's no way out. And then you end up in a situation where places like companies like Blackrock can go over and buy 50 to 70% of Ukraine while we're spending, they're taxing us all this money in order to pay for Ukraine. And then BlackRock's buying, it's like crazy. It's crazy. And of course, BlackRock is intimately entwined with the banking cartel. They are. That's what they are. And the Federal Reserve, and we got to end the Fed, guys. So anyway, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy town. It is crazy town. Right now, we are treading water. The markets are somewhat treading water, and they will probably be treading water until we get this Federal Reserve rate decision. We're going to have that on Wednesday, the 18th, and I think that whole meeting closes up on Thursday, the 19th. So interest rate reduction is pretty much locked in. You can see right now, of course, oil prices are down. Your gas at the pump is down. Inflation has kind of come under control. It's an election year. People need to get elected. Kamala wants to get elected, so they are going to lower interest rates. It's just dead on. Now, whether they're going to do 25 basis points, which is 1/4%, or 50 basis points, which is 0.5%, I can't imagine that they do 50 basis points. I think they're probably going to do 25 basis points. But whether they're going to do one or not, I don't think is a question. I think that they're talking now 3 rate cuts before the end of the year, which will send everything flying 100%. We had a nice move down to the market. Now, if you guys are trading in the markets, remember, okay, timing is one of your most important. It can be one of your most important ways to trade. Timing, okay. And you watched and you would look at the UTC time as well. Watch as they pushed up the market nice and high for a nice closing on Friday. Then they let the kind of retail traders come in and do their thing, and guys buying on Saturday, and oh yeah, let's buy some. Then they push the market down in order to have a good entry for Asia. Asia pushed the market down, and central bankers or whatever. And Asia got a nice entry in. Then they went up a little bit, and then now it got pushed down again as the U.S. The big guys get their good place in the market, and that's pretty normal, guys. That's pretty normal. And then we should, of course, move up. Now, this week, of course, we have the Fed rate decision, so markets are going to be jumping around. Now, from a risk reward perspective, that might not be the best thing. Now, as well, though, if you want to ride it one way or the other, of course, it can work out pretty well for you. But that is risky business. We're in the risk management business here. I have with me the great Matt Dixon. Sir Matt, how are you?
Hey, good morning, Bruce. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Yes, we're definitely probably treading water now ahead of the interest rate decision, but we actually had an amazing week last week. If you've been following us on Impact Money, you got it absolutely spot on.
Spot on. So, if you played those trades, you did really well.
Yeah, CPI, we said that's going to give the markets a boost. That's exactly what we had. And on X, and I think also on Impact Money, I showed where I'd be buying, where I'd be selling. So we bought in, for example, I actually gave the precise price point where I bought in for Solana at 127, sold out at 139, I think it was, just before the weekend. And I said there's going to be a sell-off over the weekend, precisely what's happened. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and share the screen so you can see where
I was just saying that as you were loading up, that timing is one of those things, and we mention it a lot, but timing is one of them. And this dance that they go through, you can see even by the UTC time, they had the nice closing on Friday. And then, of course, like you said, sell off over the weekend. They let some retail buy on Saturday, go ahead and buy in, and then bring the markets down so they have a good entry point going into the week.
Yeah. So we'll jump around a bit today, but trust you to see where we're
at. The Stoic says, how's that charge on the laptop battery?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we're 100% right now.
100%. All right. Good deal.
100%. So ready to go. So I trust you can see my chart there, yeah?
Let me see here. Yes, sir. Looking at DXY.
Yeah, I think good place to start because obviously we've got interest rates coming up on Wednesday. That's going to impact the dollar index, the value of the dollar. And as you're talking about, there's obviously a big picture out there with the money printing and all the manipulation with the central bank, et cetera, et cetera. But we follow that's the big picture behind the scenes. It's good to understand that, definitely. But we need to follow what's actually happening in front of our eyes that actually impacts our day-to-day trades. So we've had this support line that we drew in ages ago is really holding firm at the moment. I'm pretty sure that's going to break when they lower interest rates. And I think now it's an absolute foregone conclusion.
How can they not do it? It's just done.
Absolutely. So it's just a question of 25 or 50. I still think it's 25. And I think even though we're seeing a lot of signs for that they need to be lowering rates, and the talk now is they're going to lower for the final 3 meetings of this year. So 3 rate reductions. If that's the case, then I'd be very doubtful if they did 50. And I think 50 would show panic, especially if they've been holding off for so long now to actually make that rate reduction. To come in with 50 would show probably they should have done it the meeting before, perhaps, and they made a mistake. So I don't think they want to give that impression. So I think it's going to be 25 to show they're in control. Things are
totally
smooth.
In control.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think this trend line is going to break to the downside, and I think that'll give us the risk asset boost that we're looking for. So I'll jump. I'm just wondering where to jump around to. I mean, it's quite interesting. I'll just have a look at oil briefly. Again, oil had a very nice move down to a 1.618 extension quite nicely. I think oil probably has lower to go. If the economy is slowing, then oil likely has a bit lower to go. And that's probably going to help with inflation. And it'll give the Fed more room for maneuver to lower rates. So if oil prices lower, as I'm always saying, that's going to be less expense for the economy, less expense for business, less expense for travel, transport, heating, whatever it is. So there's less expense. It means inflation will be coming down, and it gives the Fed room to lower rates. And they want to lower rates because we're beginning to see unemployment ticking up a little bit now, and that's not what they want to see. So they want to start stimulating the economy a little bit. The only way they're really going to do that right now is lowering rates. They don't want to be printing money just yet, although I do believe they're going to come back to printing money. And although we think it's a despicable practice that causes nothing but trouble in the long term,
100%.
seems to be the only tool they've got. Well, I mean, they've got some room.
Not the only tool they got, but it's one of their favorites. Well, how can they fund everything that they want to fund? I mean, it was even in on Elon's tweets. X is funny with their new algorithm. It's really about commenting now. You comment on, and then that ends up. So all right, fine. I start commenting a little bit more, which is fun. You get more sometimes interactions, but kind of going back and forth with the whole thing. And, everybody thinks that we need to pass more legislation. It's like, oh, we're going to pass more legislation and it's going to work better. And it's like, all that's going to do is cost us more money. Like, there's plenty of laws on the books, but that's all these guys in Washington know how to do is write legislation. They don't know how to enforce anything. And so the more legislation they write, the more it costs us and the more money they have to print out.
And the more bureaucracy and the more jobs for government. And the more
that's it. It's like crazy. And even Kamala's new thing, she's going to take the requirements for education, college degree off of some of the jobs and federal jobs. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, it's great. This and that. But the backside of that is that what she's saying is we're going to have more government jobs. Government jobs are not what we want. You know what I mean? It's like.
It's been proven so many places around the world that when you have an overweight government, too much government, it's actually just a drag on the economy. What you want is actually manufacturing and production, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what creates real wealth. And unfortunately, government is just a cover-up to create jobs, and you can pay for them with printed money, but it's not a long-term solution. So anyway, that's the oil. Let's just take a quick look at Bitcoin. Had a beautiful 5 waves up here from the low. Remember that low we had the other day of 52,000 and something? I proposed that was a wave 2 down. And what was interesting was we had here, and I didn't look elsewhere, but we had here anyway. Not sure which time frame it was, but we had a couple of divergences. So we had here a regular bullish divergence telling us of a move higher. And we also had longer term, we had a bullish divergence, a hidden bullish divergence. So we got regular bullish and hidden bullish over different time frames. So that gave us the turn up that we've got basically. So we've got a very nice wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, 4, 5. Wave 3 was more than 1.618 times wave 1. No overlap there into wave 1 with wave 4. So perfect wave 1 up. And then that's what we expected. We expected there to be a wave 2 down over the weekend. And that's precisely what's been happening. Now, whether that's just part of the correction, whether it's complete, or whether we'll continue chopping around until Wednesday when the rate decision comes, who knows? But it looks constructive to me. The fact that we have 5 clear waves higher, at worst, it's an A wave higher and then a B wave down and a C wave to quite a bit higher again. So either way, even if you look at it in the worst possible light, it's still showing that we've got higher to go. It's not the ideal entry point right now from risk reward perspective. The ideal entry was at these divergence points down here. But even so, I think we'll monitor price, see how things go till Wednesday, and look at where there may be further entry points. But we were saying all around here, time to dollar cost average, get your positions in, and it's paid off.
October's on the way.
Yeah, it's paid off for anyone who followed that. The other one, as I say, I'll jump into Solana quite quickly. And just to show you, this was, again, I showed all these in advance. So I actually put some tweets out saying, I'm jumping into multiple crypto assets at this level. When Solana was 127 around here, I said, I'm not just jumping into Solana, although that's my favorite. I'm jumping into lots of assets. And then I said, when I jumped out at the precise point, it was 139 something, 139.50 I got out. So right near the top. Again, we got divergences at different time frames. So here we had basically, just looking at the top here, we had a hidden bearish divergence, told us price was coming down, precisely what happened. Then we had here a regular bullish divergence. So I didn't jump in right at the divergence. I waited for confirmation with the candlesticks and obviously this long shadow below, and looked at Fibonacci levels, but we jumped up really nicely. Beautiful trade there, and then closed it, and obviously we pulled back over the weekend as expected. Now, no matter what, as Bruce says, this is what happens very often over weekends. Timing is one of the best predictors of price. When you've seen some price action, strong price action before, for example, the weekend here, when the weekend comes, you often see price retraces because you've got people, well, market makers moving prices down, hitting people's stop losses, all those people along, they want to take them out of the market before potentially the price is going to rally on Wednesday come rate decision. So this was very, very typical. And so even though there's may not have been a specific signal, I'm sure there was actually, if we looked at divergences. And actually to look at divergences, I'm going to jump over to Toncoin, one of our favorites, of course.
For sure.
And here we had some beautiful divergences. So clearly we had, here we had a bullish divergence. This was a regular bullish divergence right at the bottom here, telling you exactly when to buy. And also it was a long-term support level around this here. So if we go on to the daily, you'll see we didn't actually close at all below that long-term support. The long-term support was drawn from this previous pivot low here. And again, we tried it here, didn't quite touch it. And again, we tried here. So it hasn't closed below this support, even despite Pavel Durov's arrest at the time. I was speaking to somebody over the weekend about that, by the way. Emirati, just saying, this is amazing. I know that the Emiratis put a lot of pressure on France to release him because he has, I think, 4 citizenships, 4 nationalities, one of them being Emirati. And the Emiratis put a lot of pressure on France to release him. It's great actually to see a country stand behind their citizens.
That's like one of the best things they say about having an Emirati citizenship is that they really will go to bat for you. And that is what I thought when I saw that happening as well.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I mean, sadly, we don't see it much, if at all, in the UK anymore. I know there's been
US used to be really like that, but we're not really, we don't really roll that way anymore, that much anymore either.
Yeah, bit of a shame. Anyway, here's that divergence we had here, the bullish divergence here. So this was telling us precisely when to buy. And again, on the daily, we didn't close below this long held support. So clearly around here was the time to buy. Now, once again, we have a very nice Elliott wave structure to support what we've been saying here. So from the bottom, we had 5 waves up. If you opened it out on a small time frame, I looked at it on the 15-minute earlier. We've got basically 5 waves up for wave 1, then we've got a little wave 2 down. Wave 3 went to exactly 2.618 times wave 1. Now that is a beautiful extension for wave 3. Wave 3 is normally the extended wave, the aggressive impulsive wave to the upside within a cycle. A cycle is made up of 5 waves. Wave 3 is normally the extended impulsive wave, and that's precisely what we see here. And 2.618 is a beautiful extension there. And then we got the wave 4 down, and we got a nice little wave 5 up. And again, it abided by all the rules. Here, although wave 3 wasn't extended, its wave 5 was the extended wave. Wave 3 wasn't the shortest. If it was the shortest, the wave count would be invalidated, but it wasn't the shortest. So it's a valid wave count even within wave 5 here. So we got nice 5 waves up. Now we're getting a choppy pullback in. So this is a larger wave 1 up. We then got bearish divergence. So here we got regular bearish divergence telling us that whilst we bought here and took it all the way up in 5 waves, we got an indication exactly when to close our trade because we got hidden bearish divergence. So you knew to close it here before the weekend anyway. Loads of signs there just telling us as traders where to close the trade, take your profit. And that's precisely what's happened. We've got a bit of a sell-off. Now, I don't know to be certain whether that sell-off's complete, whether we're going to go a bit lower as we maybe tread water into Wednesday. I don't know. So right now, I'm not, I've got no particular strong indication, no strong conviction where the market's going short term. So I'm not looking to take new positions right now. I'll look at where things are come Wednesday. If we drifted lower and got a nice maybe, somewhere around 50, 61.8% correction of this 5-wave move up here, then I'll maybe look to jump in long. My stop loss, my risk will be below this point here. So I need my trade, my price to get much closer to this price before I'm prepared to take a trade with a good risk reward structure, so that the risk to the downside will be much less than the reward to the upside. So I'll be hanging fire on next trades, but I'm watching very carefully now, as we know that Wednesday is going to be a big, big day. The first interest rate reduction now in a long, long time. So
like
it's
58 weeks or something like that.
58 weeks. Wow. That's over a year. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and obviously it was a rise before that. So it's going to be a long, long time since we had a rate cut.
I might have my numbers wrong. Let me just, I'm gonna Google that real quick. 50, it might have been months. I think it was like 3 years since we've had an interest rate cut.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought that sounded a bit short because we've been stuck for a long time.
Yeah, March 2020.
Yeah, amazing. So again, just looking over to Ethereum, which has been a surprising underperformer, but even so, we got a beautiful signal here with some regular bullish divergence over a different time frame, probably over the daily. I'll jump into the daily. Yeah, absolutely, it's over the daily. So we can see here lower lows on the price and higher lows on the RSI, and a massive spike below. So massive liquidity spike below, really, where effectively there's a lack of liquidity. They're trying to push the price down. There's no sell pressure, so it pushes higher. And that was regular bullish divergence and telling us that there's no appetite to take the price lower. So it rapidly reversed higher. And we see these nice green candles, really impulsive green candles to the upside. But it looks, we'd have to look at that on a shorter time frame. But I'm sure this is a 5-wave move up with some kind of correction down. So with it being regular bullish, we knew exactly where to jump into this trade and where to place the protection on the trade would have been below here. Now we can protect a small profit, just even if it's a couple of dollars in profit. You now don't really care. As long as you're protected, you can hold the trade. If it goes down, plummets down, doesn't matter. You take some profit. And if it goes high, you could get a massive profit. So either way, it's profit. So Ethereum, although it's been a bit of a laggard, more than expected, even so, there's been some great trade opportunities. And I know some people have been following me on X, even XRP, which has been a difficult one to follow. Again, we use these divergences to great effect. So we had a beautiful, so I know people were jumping in long. And again, they knew exactly where to close long before the weekend. But also we got the confirmation here with, again, probably on the 4-hour, I'm guessing. Yeah, on the 4-hour, we got a beautiful divergence there, which was hidden bearish divergence. So all different kinds of divergences, but this one's hidden bearish, tells you of a continuation of the downward trend on price. So we've got lower highs on the price, and we got higher highs on RSI, but also we got overbought RSI. So lots of signals here telling us price was about to reverse from here. And I know people who took this trade to the upside, but closed it beautifully with this signal here. So people are following what we're doing. We don't just talk about divergence. There's a number of different signals that we use. But this is one of the more powerful ones when you combine it with others. Told us exactly where to take some profit. And prices moved down nicely. I suspect it may chop a little bit more. So like the rest, I'm not really looking to take any new positions at the moment. ICP, again, got a very nice correction to the downside. Looks like an ABC correction at the moment. This looks like some kind of impulse to the upside. Once again, we got here some regular bullish divergence with lower lows on price, higher lows on RSI. Told us we're going to get this pump in price, precisely what happened. And then we got a nice ABC down. So again, I'll be looking probably at some point, probably near a Wednesday, to be assessing whether we should be taking any positions in the market, but it's looking promising at the moment. We'll just flip over to, again, one of the traditional assets, look at gold.
Look at that.
Yeah, very, very nice move there. Beautiful move on gold. So we were talking for ages about needing to push to new all-time highs, and that's precisely what happened. So we had this wave 4 correction down, which I'll just open it out. I'll go on to 4-hour, I think, actually. That shows it a bit more clearly. Yeah. just opening it out there. So we can see that basically we got an A, a B, and a C wave down for this correction. Wave 4 was actually over here. And then we got wave 1, wave 2, and this looks like a wave 3. I'll just measure that just to see if there's any Fibonacci relationship. It's always good to check. So I measure what is clearly a small 5-wave move here. I'll just transpose that to here. Okay, well, we've clearly gone beyond 1.618. So this is a valid wave 3, potentially. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. But anyway, so wave 3, wave 4, I think we've probably got higher to go. So we've got wave 1, 2, 3, probably going to get a wave 4 and a further push up to wave 5. So I do think that gold has still got higher to go. And in fact, if you looked at the larger fractals, we've got a long way to go still higher on gold.
Yep.
So gold, we're still quite, I think inflation is going to come down, but gold's a great hedge against uncertainty, not just against inflation. So we can see here we may have finished on this fractal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or virtually finished. Maybe we've got higher to go, but we've got bigger fractals than that to look at. So if we go on to the weekly, remember we were just looking at the red ones here, 1, 2, 3, but we've got here that will only finish. That will finish a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will finish a wave 5 in blue. But then we've got a bigger fractal to go. We've got a bigger red to go here. So that wave 5 in blue, finishing somewhere around about where we are now, will only be a wave 3 in red. And then we'll still have a wave 4 and 5 to go. But that, when you look at a bigger fractal again, that will then only finish the next big fractal. We're on a wave 4. We've got a long way to go, basically. So I think gold's got a long way higher to go. At every time scale you look at, every fractal you look at, gold still has higher to go. It's like those Russian dolls. Every time you take one out, there's another doll inside and inside. And that's what I mean by the fractals. All these Elliott wave counts, they fit to every different time scale you look at. So again, we've got basically, I won't go over it. I won't go on too much about it, but we appear to have quite a bit higher to go there. Now, just looking across the board, just summarizing, the markets are treading water in general. We can see virtually all of them are either flat. I mean, even XRP, which is, is virtually flat here, 0.05% to the upside. They're all basically down or flat. The big gainer for today is once again Rollbit, by the way, up 4%.
Rollbit.
It's amazing. It's had some amazing performance. So it's at 9 now. It's still at 100% up in the past few weeks. So that's done really nicely. And, I looked at that business. There's a lot of potential there. But don't focus on any particular one. I love diversification. It's good to have some of those gems, those altcoin gem kind of tokens, which can give you those tremendous 100% plus performances. But we need to diversify. And I like to be trading the big ones where there's real liquidity. Oh, I'm loving this now. Solana's jumping up quite nicely again.
Yeah,
things are beginning to look a bit positive. I think we're going to get probably a bit more positivity before Wednesday. But I do think there's going to be a lot of volatility around Wednesday. So if you're trading around that rate decision, be very, very careful.
Yeah, watch your stop losses. If you're trading, make sure you're well collateralized, because even as we saw, and we've talked about it a number of times and shown on the show, they'll move that market however they need to, down, up, all around, and then take out all your stop losses, liquidate it to people, and then take it the direction they want to take it.
Yeah, thing is, there's very little real liquidity when you're coming around a big news decision, data point like that interest rate decision. So they can swing prices wildly up and down, and all they do, look at where all these stop losses are. They can swing prices massively. They just pick up stop losses. It's free money for them.
It's free money.
Fantastic business.
So, it really is.
So that's why I'm very, very cautious. I don't, a lot of people do data trading, or what do they call it, news trading or something. And I know a lot of people that have lost a lot of money around that. Occasionally, you can catch it lucky and make some money, but in general, you'll lose money doing that. It's just a gamble, so not to be recommended. I just wouldn't recommend it. There are much safer ways to make consistent money around trading. And that's basically what we're trying to teach people on a regular basis.
Yep.
So I think that's about it as a summary for today. There's, again, obviously lots more we can look into. Please let us know if there's any particular tokens that you'd like us to look into on other days. Obviously, tomorrow is the day before the rate decision, so we might just focus on some of the big fundamentals that are going to impact their decision as we look forward to Wednesday. But yeah, hope that helps Bruce and everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, look forward to tomorrow.
You got it, brother. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, and look forward to catching up. Bye for now.
For sure. Cheers. Well, there you have it, guys. Now, it might be a pretty fun day in the market, but as Matt said, and as we both cautioned, be careful out there. Be careful out there. What you really want to do is you want to win trades. You want to win more trades than you lose. And so that risk reward may be a little much for you. If you are trading, make sure you're well collateralized and you have your stop losses and everything set up. Not recommended at the moment. So I'll tell you what, we have some very interesting. I was just going back over my title, The Financial Impact of Global Events, navigating markets amidst chaos on the Impact Money Show. I wonder if, and the news is coming out just like after you have an attempted assassination on somebody like President Trump, which it doesn't even seem like big news at the moment, right? It is big news, but I wonder who was shorting the market. I wonder who, because so the last time we had an assassination attempt, you had, I think it was, I guess I don't want to say a company and say it wrong, so I won't say it. I know that Blackrock was one of the large holders of that company. Doesn't mean that they were involved, but I'm confident in saying that. But they had opened up a massive short on Donald J. Trump stock, the Truth Social stock, as well as Rumble stock. And of course, if Trump had been assassinated, both of those would have just really crashed. So really interesting. They said no problem. They said, oh no, it was just an error. We didn't mean to short Donald J. Trump stock, but the biggest trade that we'd done in all year, that was an absolute accident, clerical error. SEC apparently just let them change it. There was no, it didn't appear to be any, they didn't have to close the trade or anything. They just took it off. And then they never said anything about Rumble. And of course, Rumble was just swept under the rug. Oh, they just didn't talk about Rumble. So it appears to me anyway, to be some nefarious business going on there. And so I wonder if there was some more of that this time around. Of course, guys that have more time to look into those things than me will be digging in and yelling about it on X. And so we'll all know pretty soon what is, what if there was some major trades going on. Now, I mentioned MK Ultra because, and I know a lot of people go, oh, MK Ultra, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that MK Ultra is a real program that was set up by the CIA, MK Ultra. Now, CIA, most people believe that the CIA was behind. I mean, it's pretty much established. I mean, everyone just pretty much believes that the CIA was behind the JFK assassination. Now, I did run you through who started the CIA, which was Alan Dulles, a number of times. It's funny, I was even talking to my friend Nick Spanos the other day. I don't get to tell Nick Spanos very many things that he doesn't know. And Nick Spanos says, are you serious? Related to the Rothschilds? Yeah, really? Wow, I did not know that. So I got to tell Nick. I don't get to tell Nick very many things he doesn't already know. Nick always tells me things. I just have to be quiet and listen to him because he's like, he knows everything. But here you go, MK Ultra, even on Wikipedia, which everybody knows as well, is CIA controlled. It's been proven a number of times that the CIA IP addresses have been the major editors of Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is their tool that they use to shape information. But there you have it right there on Wikipedia. Project MK Ultra is a human experience program designed to undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence to develop procedures, blah, blah, blah. Code name for covert, here's right here on the CIA.gov. Now, Project MK Ultra MK whatever is code name for a covert CIA mind control and chemical interrogation research program, run by the Office of whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a real deal, and there's quite a few of these. There's not just some. So if I go over here to my favorite now, I love Grok. I don't know if you guys are on Grok or not, but Grok is pretty cool. So if I go over here and I say, what are the known mind control programs of the CIA? Of course, Project MK Ultra, the first one to come up. There's also Project Bluebird or Artichoke. There's Operation Paperclip. Oh wow, look, they actually reference my post. Look at that. So there you go. Well, there you go, guys. I guess I'm a fact checker. I'm a fact checker. How about that? So they did reference my tweet. I on my post, I did take some time to put this post together. Several mind control programs in the CIA have been made public, including but not limited to MK Ultra. This was a top secret program that was aimed to develop mind control techniques through the use of drugs, hypnosis, and other methods that operated in the early 1950s to the early 1970s. Now, again, it's one of those things like, you train a bunch of guys on how to do stuff, and then you expect that they don't use it anymore. Like, I find it, of course, it's not only just hard to believe, like, of course, they're still using it, guys. Of course they are. Project Artichoke, this was a CIA program that was aimed to develop interrogation techniques that could be used against enemy agents. It also involved the use of drugs, hypnosis, and methods. Project Bluebird was this was a CIA program that was aimed to develop methods of controlling human behavior. It involved the use of drugs, hypnosis, and other methods. The programs that were made public through various means, including congressional hearings, FOIA requests, and leaks, revelations about these programs, are very concerned about the ethics and legality of the CIA activities. And I quoted this post. This post got millions and millions of views, 3.7 million views. It was after the first Trump assassination attempt. CIO has known mind control tech. They found a suitable man, scrubbed his digital footprint, which is absolutely true. This is totally how they set these things up. You can't find anything of these people. They try to assassinate them, and then it's like they never even existed. So the Secret Service gave, then I'm, of course, conjecturing. Conjecture, I would say, probably the rest of that. But anyway, it's probably what happened. And if that's what we know about, then you got to believe that what we don't know about is like, wow. I mean, so from 1950 to 1970, we were using MK Ultra. 1970, guys, that was like 55 years ago. I mean, 50 something years ago. I mean, that was a long time ago, guys. Imagine like the technology in 1950 and 1970 compared to now. So, and I had one of the guys, I should have him on again. He uses what he says is his third eye. Remote viewing is also a real, program that is used by the CIA. I can ask Grok about that too. Grok is really great. Let me just see here. We'll ask Grok. We'll see what Grok says. Let me add Grok back to my screen. Grok is far superior at this point than other forms of AI. I can tell you that straight up. What about what history does the CIA have with remote viewing? Has documented history with remote viewing, primarily through what is known as the Stargate project. Here's an overview. So it's worth going ahead and spending a little bit more money. I think it's like $8 if you go premium on X, and it's another $8 if you want Grok and the other things, and it's worth it. Because you have all this stuff, and it's not baloney. It's like real. as much as it's better than anything else, I would say. Okay. So here you have it. This remote viewing stuff is real. I did have a remote viewer on. I'm going to have him on again. We are looking for to put together some funding for his movie. I should get more involved. I'm just very busy. It's hard, you know. It's hard, guys. You're busy, right? We do what we can do. As the markets turn, though, we can probably do some more. So that's two things. I should have him on, and I should also have on the guy. He's got his court date. So this guy, I haven't had him on the show yet, but what he's done, and I guess he's done it a couple of times before, is he goes and he buys a car or he buys a house, and then when it comes time to pay or whatever, he doesn't pay, and then they take him to court, and he shows in court that they actually didn't lend him the money to buy the car, that they just faked it and made a little thing on their sheet and said, oh yeah, here you go, here's the money for it, but they didn't actually lend him the money, and then he supposedly wins in court. So we're going to see, because they didn't really lend him the money. Anyway, pretty interesting. So anyway, he wants to come on the show. I know it's pretty controversial, so I haven't really had him on yet, but I'm busy too, is one of the main reasons. But I should have him on, and I should have our remote viewer on again. And I got to get my daughter to school, so it's always a pleasure, guys. We do the show every morning. I hope you guys are making a bunch of money. We are working on ways now, even more now that Matt is back in Dubai. We're working on ways to get you guys more involved, ways that you can win like we do. Cheers.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.